Hello, Chuckabasses. Let's raise a flag. And another. And another. And what about equity? Equity? Raising a flag?
Nigel Cecil, calling things out as you like it, especially for his fair-minded friends.
Hello, Chuckabasses, welcome. Thank you for joining me, Nigel Cecil. Flag waving, Hillary. Flag waving. What's this all about? It's probably worth just explaining for those who've joined us for the first time, because guess what, Hillary? Yes, the numbers of viewers are going up very slowly, but we're so pleased to welcome our new viewers. This channel started some years ago now because many of us who are regular viewers are members of Equity. Equity, the trade union for professional actors, variety entertainers and other creatives across the United Kingdom. A kind of a little bit of creativity, a little bit of fun, as Kenny Everett would have said, all meant in the best possible taste. You see, Equity is a trade union, and it used to put quite clearly the professional interests of members first and foremost. But now it's fair to say it's been taken over by an ideology. Now, this isn't a complaint. If that's what the members vote for, even if it's only some 6 or 7% of the members' votes, well, if it's been taken over by an ideology, you have to accept it. Because unless members are prepared to do something about it, well, there you go. That's the situation. But then you see, it leads to the, situation again, that of course, a trade union isn't like a government where if the Labour Party says something, well, the media give credence and credibility and publicity to the opposition. A quick interjection, let's not set aside the need to uphold the principles of freedom of expression and free speech. We may well deal with that in another video. End of interjection. But in an organisation like a trade union, the only general information that gets promoted to the members is what those running the union, and in this case, as we said, elected by some 6% of the membership, want to put forward to the union. It's to the members, how do they get the information? And in a free and fair situation, we should be able to have open discussion, transparently discussing our views and saying, well, we think that and we think the other. But then there's now a feeling that within showbiz in particular, there's a cancel culture. If you put forward views that, well, those driving the agenda don't agree with, cancel them. Well, as we've said, at our age now, we were cancelled years and years ago. So we thought we'd start this channel with some of our friends on the basis we'll try to put both sides of the argument, so discussion is stimulated. Why should we be in official opposition? We don't want to do that. That doesn't benefit Equity. What benefits Equity is enabling discussion equally and fairly amongst everyone. I'm digressing now, aren't I, Hillary? Yes, I was vaccinated with a gramophone needle at school years ago. So anyway, flag waving. What's this flag waving all about? Well, of course, you'll have watched and seen the news, the videos going viral about someone on the stage, the curtain call, the final call at the Royal Opera House, holding up a flag of Palestine. Shock, horror. And then some of you get in touch and say, Nigel, what's Equity got to do about it? Now remember, I've said equal and fair, that's what we try to be. So the question is, if you're asking why, Hillary, yes, what is Equity going to do about it? Why should Equity do anything? It's actually nothing to do with Equity, because Equity only generally gets involved if there is an issue in the workplace, the terms and conditions of members working, that's brought to Equity's attention. When you think about this, we don't actually know whether this person concerned is a member of Equity. They probably will be, but we can only react to the information we're reading in the tippy-tappy newspapers and internet. And we've got to say, firstly, whilst it might be a shock to the audience, someone suddenly holding up a flag, so what? They've had the full show. They've seen all the show. They've enjoyed it. They weren't expecting that at the end. Neither probably the Royal Opera House. I have to say, though, It's a brilliant stroke. But setting aside whether you agree with us or not, brilliant planning, isn't it? Right at the end of the show, so no one can complain they haven't seen the show and just done. And guess what? According to the reports in the newspaper, the person doing it is a freelancer. And it was their last show. So what can the Royal Opera House do? Because they've now left. Nothing to do with the Royal Opera House. Of course, they've probably completely kiboshed their chances of ever working at the Royal Opera House again, because the Royal Opera House promote the fact that they want to be, well, just non-political. It doesn't suit what they want to promote, equally and fairly like us to everyone. So realistically, it's nothing to do with equity unless someone says, well, we're going to take action against that particular person, and this particular person has to be a member of equity, of course, and I doubt that's going to happen. So when you look at it, you'd say, well, whilst we might not support the cause they're raising the flag for, you have to acclaim them and saying it was a brilliantly planned idea. You know, we're no longer working there. We were freelance, and it was right at the end of the show. So we've not influenced, you know, the fact that nobody can actually come forward and say we didn't enjoy the show. You've had the show right until the final moment. A great stroke. But having said that, if of course suddenly someone says, well, they've raised a flag, so we're now going to raise a flag because they've done it, so we can do it. This used to be the thing at school. If somebody said, we want to bring our bike and put it there, the headmaster would say, well, yes, but if you bring your bike, then they want to bring their bike, and they will want to bring their bike, and we haven't got enough bike sheds. So we have to limit and control who is eligible to bring a bike. So if one person raises a flag of, well, you know, as they did, the Palestinian flag, then next week someone else raises, well, why not the Chelsea flag? Why not the British flag? You know, can we say that? I'm supposed to say Union Jack. I don't want to get involved in this really, but you get the idea. And so we have a sudden end of a show where everybody's raising flags, and the audience would say, hey, come on, what's going on? So there we have it. So realistically, at this moment in time, nothing to do with equity. But the idea you go to a show and you're suddenly confronted with something you've not expected. It's the idea of being, you know, suddenly confronted with something you just didn't want to know. It's nothing to do with you. You booked to go to the show. That's where the problem occurs when it comes to any shows on stage. You shouldn't really be confronted with something you're not expecting. You've got a contract with the theatre to have that show presented. And it's like, can you imagine going to Sainsbury's and the girl on the checkout insists they show you their flag. No, come on. So really, it's a trend that should be saying, no, we're not having that. So I can understand everyone saying, we're not having that. But there again, it really was a brilliant stroke. I disagree with it, though, really, Hilary, don't we? Yes, so let us know what you think by getting in touch with this email address, and then we'll respond to your topic. What? Oh, yes, some of you have already been in touch and want us to do a follow-up to the spotlight and equity at the High Court. Alistair Smith in the stage highlighted something. Do have a look at the stage and the report by Alistair Smith, and we'll do a follow-up, shall we, Hilary? Not sure when, but please join us again, and don't forget, use this email to get in touch and let us know what you think. Let's encourage more open discussion within equity, and as we always say, until the next time, Jacobutties, good work, good art, and in showbiz, don't forget, you better keep your fingers crossed. Where's the flag, Hilary? Where's the flag?
Please hit the subscribe button and join us again, because together every viewer helps. Thank you.
If you're not already a member, join Equity, the trade union for professional actors, variety entertainers and other creatives across the United Kingdom.